Hey folks, so today we're going to remodel my wife's office. She's wanting to put some shiplap up on the wall here. And I got to take this door out. So when they built the house, they put a door in here that's like a secret door, but not a secret door, going into the master closet. And this is a guest bedroom. So I'm not really sure why they did that. So I got to take this door out, reframe it in so that I can run shiplap across this wall. She wants it to be an accent wall. Take these shelves off and then repaint and go from there. So join me on the process. So the tools that we're going to need to do this easy demo of the door is, I like this tool. It's a trim tool. Doesn't tear up the trim as bad and or the drywall. In case we need it, the heavy duty or one hammer and a razor blade so that you can cut the trim away from the paint. While I know I'm covering up this whole wall, I don't want to tear the drywall up. So you got to cut that painter's caulk away from the trim and the wall. And then we'll take it all apart. Okay, so what I've done now is I've taken all the trim off, and as you can see, they had glued, and I don't know why, but they had glued it right here. And so I had to rip it all off, and it took the paper off with it. But that's okay, because some chances are the shiplap's not going to come. We're not going to take it off anymore. So I've taken the ground molding off, the electrical sockets. You'll have to take the plates off of that, and you can undo them from the box if you want to maneuver them around. But you will have to put extenders on them when you go to put the things back on so that they're pulled out to the shiplap level. And then the door is completely out and gone. So now I've got to frame all that in and get it ready for shiplap. Now we've got our frame in, and I put a cross member in there just to stabilize it a little bit more. And plus there was a piece of scrap that was left over. Coincidentally enough, the perfect length too. And I use scrap over here. You see it's kind of protruding out because I wanted to have it flush with the shiplap as it hits that and the drywall. Because there'd be that gap there. So it gives it a little bit of stabilization on both sides. You see here it's in a little bit because this is out to match flush with that drywall. And then it's flush on this other side where the closet is for drywall. Not flush, but inset for drywall. So after putting the video together, I realized I had some technical difficulties. I'm using a new camera where the installation video didn't record, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So what you do is putting up shiplap is the easiest thing in the world to do. Don't get scared by it because you have a lot of variables that can help you if you make errors. For example, measure the length between your left and your right side of the wall, and whatever that shortest measurement is from the top to the bottom, make that the length of all your boards, because your walls are going to come in and out because walls are never plumb and straight. No matter what you say, they may be a 1/16 of an inch, but when you're mounting something, that 1/16 of an inch is going to make a huge difference. But the reason why I say you've got the variable there, where you can do it, is you're putting a 1x4 to cover up and seam it in on left and right and top and bottom. And so that gives you 4 inch, 3.5 inches of play of cutting too short, if you will. But you're not going to do that because you want it to be as flush as possible. But that gives you kind of a protection built in. At the top, do the same thing. And at the bottom, do the same thing with a 1x6. Now the way you're going to level those up, you try to use a full board because you don't want to rip them because it'll look weird. But with using a 1x6 at the bottom and a 1x6 at the top, it gives you plenty of room to have a little bit of variance at the top. I always start at the bottom and level that bottom board like it's the base of your foundation of your house. Make sure it's truly as level as you can get it so that your lines are straight when you look at it. And it may be a little bit off your floor, or you may be lucky and your floor is perfectly level. But shim it up if you need to, and then build up from there. And the good thing about Shiplap, it is tongue and groove depending on which ones you get. So they just stack onto each other, and behind here is an indention carved out, kind of like a rabbet, and they just sit on top of each other and you nail them in. My preference is, if you look, if you were to see behind this wood, the tongue and groove part of this board goes up to about right here. So use that as your nailing point, not in through the wood, because then you'll have a bunch of holes to fill and it won't look completely finished. If you cover up all those holes with the top board behind there with the nailing, and I use a brad nailer, not a finish nailer. And then I put liquid nails behind the wood to adhere it to the drywall as well, but nail into the studs. And you can use a laser to mark your studs, or even just mark them with a pencil along the whole wall itself. And so once you get that done, I went in a little extra, and let's see if I can find one. Here's a good one, a good example. See, that's why I don't want you to use a lot of finish nails on the outside. That's a finish nail indention. You can't see it from far off, but you don't want a lot of those around. I did finish nails probably 3 boards, maybe just to add a little extra safety that it's holding in, because brad nails are tiny, but yes, I did use liquid nails. So, but it kind of, as you can see, it blends all in. The other thing to remember is down here on the electrical plates is using those extensions to pull out the box, inside the box. They're like little spacers, and that gets you to where you can, excuse me, you'll have the electrical socket will pull straight out and be flush. And of course you can do that. They do the same thing on the low voltage for data if you have that in your wall as well. So once you do that, go over to here, you can go put a little bead of caulk all the way down, and it'll fill in your holes of where you want, so that it looks like it's completely flush, and then a bead of caulk against the wall, and this 1x4, and that'll give it, as you can see, I painted the wall already, it'll give you that completely seamless transition. And so once you've done all that, if you buy these boards, they're already pre-painted. I got them at Lowe's. I'll put a link down below on where they are. But yeah, it's a little bit more expensive, but they are factory painted, so it's a lot smoother finish and a lot better paint, unless you spray them or what have you. But then all you have to do is fill in those finish nail holes with a fill stick, and you're done. So now now that we've completely finished installing the Shiplap, painted, filled in the holes, and put stuff back, you can see the finished product and how much it adds to the look of this room, which is my wife's office. I appreciate you, as always, supporting the channel. Hit that like and subscribe button, and let me know in the comments what you think. Good, bad, or indifferent. I appreciate all the comments, support, and you guys have a wonderful holiday season, and take care.